Hello everyone. Today is your friendly neighborhood queer Christian, and today is the Friday word. Okay, so we know we are 4 days from a major event. November 5th is an election, and everyone says the most consequential election of our lifetime, but every election is consequential, right? Every election has an effect on what happens in the world. I was one of those people who I was blessed to have my loans forgiven. I had paid off the principal. Okay, let's be clear. I was literally just still paying interest. Amen. But with that said, I know some people did not have that, had to pay it off, or they were not able to get theirs written off. And so I understand, but I feel really blessed. But that's a consequence of having Biden in office. Amen. There's ways where people speak about, why do we have HMOs? Why do you have to go through these sort of things, the rigmarole to get, health insurance? Well, you can thank the President Reagan for that. Amen. Consequence to your votes. Amen. There is a consequence to our votes. There's consequence to whether you, in terms of your mayors. There's a consequence. Why are there highways through certain neighborhoods of New York City? That was Mayor Lindsay. Amen. There are consequences to elections. Every election has consequences. But this election particularly is a consequential election because we know who the two people are running, right? We have one person and then we have someone else. Okay, amen. I'm not going to get it. I'm not even going to say the name because why? Why do that? All right? But we know the deal. Amen. And when people are in office, they have consequences. There's consequences, right? Why are we back now 50 years? I grew up with pro-choice, right? I grew up, pro-choice was the law of the land. And now I'm in experience with pro-choice is not the law of the land. Amen. Consequences to elections. Amen. But particularly as we talk about as being a Christian, it can be a little bit of a challenge because there's different ideas of well, if God is all knowing and, God rules our world, why should we have to vote? Amen. But voting and making your voice heard and the consequences is throughout the Bible. Point is that. Looking up the word, what vote means. Vote means a formal indication of a choice between two or more candidates or courses of action. Amen. Now I want to take us to Luke, right? And here is Luke 23:13 through 16. And then this is the Message. Then Pilate called in the high priests, rulers, and others and said, "You brought this man to me as a disturber of the peace. I examined him in front of all of you and found there was nothing to your charge. And neither did Herod, for he has sent him back with a clean bill of health," right? It's clear that he's done nothing wrong, let alone anything deserving death. I'm going to warn him to watch his step and let him go. At that, the crowd went wild. "Kill him! Give us Barabbas." Now, Barabbas had been thrown in prison for starting a riot and for murder. Pilate still wanted to let Jesus go and spoke out again. But they kept shouting back, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" He tried a third time. "But for what crime? I found nothing in him deserving death. I'm going to warn him to watch his step and let him go." Right? He had, as you know, when a president at the end of their term has the ability to commute a sentence. And this is the one time of the year Pilate had an ability to commute a sentence. So he was going to commute a sentence. He brought in Barabbas thinking, well, I'm going to bring him a murderer. So therefore, I'll do that. They'll see and it will all be good. But no. And so they just kept shouting at it, and Pontius Pilate just wiped his hand and said, "All right, fine. I've done what I can do. I've showed you 3 times. I brought up a murderer, but you still want to do what you want to do?" They voted for Barabbas, a consequence of a vote, right? A consequence of your action. And 1 John 4:1, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but let the spirit see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world." When we think about what our vote is and who we're voting for, and not just for people, right, but whether it's propositions, there's 7 in New York. In New York, there's 6 propositions on the ballot this year. I know in California, there's about 4 or 5, some really important propositions. In every state, right, there's referendums, right? Kansas was a 2022 one codified reproductive justice in their charter. Kansas okay, or Kansas, amen. So, there's consequences, there's actions that people are taking with their vote. So I would say that, to know the importance of your vote, right? Sometimes I feel like a really big cop out when people are like, well, both sides are the same. Politicians are not your parents. This is not a genie. They're not going to solve everything. There are things that's still going to happen. There's still injustice in the world. There's always been injustice in the world. This world is not any worse now than it was at any other time. When people say things like that, I think that's crazy. You just don't know. You don't know history. That doesn't even begin to make sense. There's always been, right? I'm the result. I'm on this land because of chattel slavery. Amen. My mother is direct descendant. Amen. My father was a product of slavery in Jamaica. So there's always been injustices in this world, and that won't stop because of one person. But shifts and changes happen because of people in office. Amen. The Emancipation Proclamation, someone walking on the moon, the Civil Rights Act, the Title IX. All these things are results of people the EPA was a result of Nixon. Who knew? Amen. Our voices have consequences. And so it is our responsibility to not just believe any person who comes to us, right? Test those. See the fruits of people's trees. Look at the two candidates we have now. What are the fruit of their trees? Amen. And make the decision. I was canvassing about a couple of weeks ago, and there was this woman who was saying she was undecided. When I hear undecided, I know where they're leaning. Amen. But I was like, that's a decision between you and your faith. That's only you can make that. That I truly believe. Whether we vote for the same person or vote for the same referendums, your vote is your choice. Amen. But if you walk our walk, make sure that you are testing it, seeing what is the fruit of their trees, what is their spirit. Test their spirits of what they say is true. What they do, does it move people forward or does it condemn? Only you can make that decision. Amen. I hope this is helpful for someone. There will be no prayer chat tomorrow, but there will be a prayer chat on Monday because we're going to try to pray, and we're going to pray in for this historic election. Amen. Because I'm feeling victory on November 5th. All right, everyone. I hope we have a beautiful day. Bye.